Hello? Can everyone hear me? Okay. I'm giving everyone a little time to come in and to settle. Please have your videos showing, your camera, please, so we can all see each other. And please display your name, your correct name. One person, I'm seeing the name of her phone. Techno Pavia 4, can you change your name, please? Display your name, please. Okay. A pleasant good morning, good afternoon to you, beautiful ladies, wherever you are in the world. Yeah. Hello to Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Doreen. All the class of SteelE sisters. Hi, Amy. Hi, Victoria. Hi, Bella. So very good to see you all and our guests this morning, this afternoon. It's indeed wonderful to see you, beautiful ladies. My name is Jeannie. I am the administrator and I'm also the membership coordinator for the class of SteelE. Today, the class of SteelE ladies are so excited to be putting on for you a conference just for us ladies called No Woman is an Island, Let Us Build Nations. Yes? So we'll be all hosting it for you together. And one thing I want to share with you is our class of SteelE celebratory hand signal. So when we're excited, when we're celebrating someone, when we're saying hi, when we're just happy, this is our signal for that. So when you see us doing that, you can do it at any point in time. It's just that we're happy, we're celebrating each other, we're celebrating a point that was made. It's just, that's our show of joy, okay? Yes. So, nice, wonderful. Hello, Dorothy, thank you. So today we'll receive some very enriching and insightful information from 4 very knowledgeable and professional, successful ladies. And I hope that you are quite enlightened and empowered, and your cup is filled to overflowing when we're finished here today. With that being said, I would like to introduce to you our COO, Victoria Okader. And she will greet you and she will tell you a bit more about the class of SteelE and the class of SteelE ladies. Welcome, Ma. It's so great to see you.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Good morning, our First Lady, Ambassador Jenny Michael Steele, Dr. Anita Davis-DeFoe, Ambassador Miss Hajra Khan, Ambassador Miss Lovely Sheridan, Ambassador Miss Mariett Ramm. You're all welcome to this great conference. Shall we pray, please? Can we pray? Our Father and our God in heaven, we want to thank you so much for a time like this. Lord, we bless you because you are God. Thank you for the meeting of today. Our Lord and our God, we ask that you take absolute control. Let everything be to your glory and to your honor. Thank you, mighty God. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen. I am Her Excellency Ambassador Victoria Tejumola Okedare from Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria. I want to tell us a little bit about the class of SteelE. The class of SteelE is a mentoring class. We are extremely strategized in our approach to solutions. This group was established by His Excellency, Dr. Bishop Michael Steele, our great mentor and instructor. The class of SteelE is a well-established body where leaders from all spheres of life gather to learn and are well-informed. We are all more educated than when we came. In the class of SteelE, we are privileged to interact with people from other continents of the world. It is a place where our businesses are more advertised and well packaged and promoted. We have members from Africa, Barbados, Uganda, Nigeria, US, UK, and so many other parts of the world. If not because of COVID-19 pandemic, we also have the privilege to travel to other continents of the world. The class of SteelE is a unique class to be, where we are always well informed, we are stirred up, we are educated. It's a place where when we go back, we always have something to tell others. Time will not permit me. I want to just stop concerning the class of SteelE. I want to talk to us about the class of SteelE ladies class. The class of SteelE ladies is coordinated by the First Lady, the wife of our great mentor, Ambassador Jenny Michael Steele. In this group, we support each other as well as the class of SteelE. It is a big family from different spheres of life. We are ladies, women with like-mindedness. We are ladies that have positioned ourselves for global relevance. you will agree with me that women are nation builders and women are peace promoters. Oh yes, the class of SteelE ladies are pace setters, goal getters. We are focused, and we are ladies of integrity and character. We love God and are ready to share Him. The class of SteelE Ladies Conference is our victory. So let us mobilize together and show the world that we Africans and other continents of the world have a lot to offer. And we are preparing the next generation leaders. In the class of SteelE Ladies, we motivate, encourage, spur one another to good work. In short, we are a big, big family. We are always eager to meet with each other. Oh yes, we love ourselves and we are united. We are, as ladies, determined to succeed. And we know by the grace of God we shall succeed. Yes, without wasting much time, I want to talk to us about my experience both in the class of SteelE and in the ladies' fellowship. In these two groups, in the class of SteelE, I've been encouraged as an individual. Remember, I told you earlier on that we are leaders. Most of us are leaders from different continents of the world. We are leaders from different continents of the world. We inspire each other. Please, are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? Okay, thank you. We are informed. When I got to the class of SteelE, I just realized that I'm more informed from all the instructions and teachings we've been receiving from our great mentor, Bishop Michael Dr. SteelE. I just realized that I learn step by step. I'm step up. I am more socialized. I am privileged to mingle with other people from other continents of the world. Oh yes. I realized that my computer knowledge, my internet knowledge was not so much. It was when I got to the class of SteelE that I found it necessary to go back to school. I had to go and enroll myself more in the computer school to be more informed in the internet operation. So I am so grateful to the class of SteelE and also the ladies body fellowship. I'm so grateful because I have the privilege to study. Now I could Google. Our mentor and his wife, they are workaholics. They're always working. And you know, this is a good virtue. There is no little time of theirs that is wasted. I emulate that virtue. And I am determined in my mind, I will never leave the class of SteelE. I will continue to be in the ladies' meetings and also in the class of SteelE because I have a lot to learn. And I want to encourage you, because the time will not permit us. I have a lot of testimonies. I have equally been introduced to those that I would have never met in life. Business partners, gurus in their own spheres of life, who are ready to teach us more on leadership. Yes, we are leaders on our own right, but we need to improve ourselves. And sometimes it will interest you to know that some of the things we learn, but in the class of SteelE, I go back to my ministry and I make sure that I download it. So once again, thank you very much for listening to me. I want you to get relaxed in this conference. The conference is heavily loaded and it's going to do all of us good. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for your love and your encouragement and your support. Our Excellency Victoria has been with us from the very start, from day one. And I don't think she has missed the class yet. And we have class Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And this has been happening since February. And she has just been our support. She has been wonderful to us. She's like mama. She's like mama. She has been so wonderful to us. And I'm grateful. We're all grateful to have you, Ma. We're very grateful and very blessed indeed. Ladies, I want you to, in the chat, tell us where in the world you are. Where are you? Where are you hailing from? I know we're from all over the globe, which is beautiful. Where are you hailing from? Let everyone know which country you're representing today. So I have Louise is from United Kingdom. Which part of United Kingdom, Louise? Type it in. Because you're muted. Jacqueline, the Caribbean, welcome. Trinidad and Tobago. Sunny, you're from the UK, you're here in England, my friend, welcome. Oh, Woodford Green. Louise, you're welcome. Thank you for coming. So beautiful. Amy, Kenya. Oh, that's a class of SteelE lady. Hello, Amy. But now, currently, she's in South Sudan. I have Olukoya Adola. I hope I'm pronouncing your names correctly. Plateau State, Nigeria. Welcome, Nigeria. I have Mary, Nigeria. Welcome, Mary. Dana, I hope I'm pronouncing your names correctly again. Accra, Ghana. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful to have you all. Mercy, Nigeria. Mama Victoria, Nigeria. Oh, wonderful. Zionist Amaka Curry. Leeds in the UK. Oh, how beautiful. Hello. Amaka is a beautiful name. Oh, correct. It very well is. Bella, Kampala, Uganda. Hello, Bella. You're welcome. Anyone else? Hello, Patience, Pastor Patience from Nigeria. You're welcome. Peace. I see your name. You haven't told us where you're from yet. I can see all of you. Jenny, tell us where you're from. Tell us where you're from. I want to welcome you all. I want you all to know where you're hailing from. It's beautiful to know that we're from all over the globe and we're here together as one. Jenny, greetings from Barbados. Wonderful. Thank you, Jenny. You're welcome. Dorothy, you're welcome. Abuja, Nigeria, you're welcome. It's wonderful. It's very wonderful to have you all. I think we have slowed and you telling me where you're from. So welcome you. Okay. Lilia from Abuja, Nigeria, you're welcome, huh? Okay. I hope you all have also seen your welcome packs in your email. It has with you your notepad. You should have with you your agenda so you can see what's happening today. Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Jacqueline. Jacqueline is showing us she has it printed. Well done, Jacqueline. Beautiful. Thank you. Hi, Florence from Uganda. You're welcome, Ma. You're welcome, Dorothy.
Hi. Mommy, I got some clothes on.
Yes. Okay, Josh.
Hi, guys.
Josh, wait. Josh, wait. Okay. Sorry, that's our son. He sits here, so you have to forgive us. Hello, Nola from Uganda. From Ghana, sorry. Caroline from Zambia. You're welcome. So today we'll have 4 ladies, as I mentioned earlier, who will be blessing us. We have Miss Mariett Ramm. We also have Miss Hajra Khan. We have after lunch, we're going to have Miss Lovely Sheridan. And then we'll have Dr. Anita Davis-DeFoe. All those beautiful ladies to look forward to. Okay, we'll do some housekeeping right now, our technical support. We'll do a bit of housekeeping, and then we will present our first speaker.
All right. Pleasant good morning to all the beautiful ladies. I must be one of the most lucky guys because I have the privilege of being here with all of you ladies. Come on, somebody. Hello. I'm not showing myself because I noticed that Alice Buba Kudolo is supposed to be a lady. And you're going to get removed shortly if we don't see a lady showing up, Alice. So I hope that Alice shows up with a lady. Men are not invited, Amy. So ladies, come on, tell them go. Ladies, give them that wave and say, no, 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 no. Okay. Well, pleasant good morning, good afternoon to all of you guys who are with us. You are very welcome to our first ladies event from the class of SteelE. I'm Dr. Michael SteelE, and I have been labeled as technical support today, just to make sure that everything goes well and in order. We're going to be having a number of ladies who are going to be coming, and the structure basically is we're going to have all microphones muted, and persons that are coming and sharing, they will be sharing, and then in the end, they will be asking a few questions. A couple of individuals can ask questions. If you have any questions to ask, please put them in the chat while the class is happening. Make yourself familiar with the chat so that you can just type them out while it's going on, because this session And this event is structured around following up in the class of SteelE. The speakers who you're going to be hearing today are all part of the class of SteelE structure. Mariett would be present after the class of SteelE for other sessions during the class of SteelE. Her Excellency, um, Her Excellency Anita Davis-DeFoe, Dr. DeFoe. Dr. DeFoe is one of our partners and associates, so she equally will be with us quite often as well in the class of SteelE. So just put your questions in and we will review them and we definitely will respond to you. Everything about this session is free. There's no charge for anything. We just want you to relax and have a really good time for our first event. You would notice that we request that individuals use their cameras, have your cameras turned on, and it's because we want to make sure a number of things, that they're only women, one, but two, we also want you to get familiar with the person who is next to you from another country. How many of you agree with me? When you're seeing individuals, you don't just want to see see the names on a black screen, but it's nice to get a personal touch. And that's what we're doing in the class of SteelE with Zoom, considering the global lockdown and individuals not able to connect. So with that being said, let me wish all of you a very, very successful day today. I'm going to be present behind the scenes to make sure that we don't have any technical glitches. And I want you guys to just enjoy yourselves together. Don't take yourself too serious. And if there are any little hiccups, bear with us, because all of us are putting this together and are hoping for the best as we go forward. So thank you very much and have a great time. And I will hand over to your capable host, First Lady Jeannie. God bless you guys and have a fantastic day today. Thank you so very much. Back over to Jeannie. Let me check. Man. I'll do her profile. All right, don't worry. I'm going to go in.
Ladies, thank you for your patience with us. We are gathering our, just bear with us. Oh, it's so so wonderful to see.
Okay, we're having a technical glitch, and I think the technical glitch is because my wife and I are in the same house and on the same Wi-Fi. So just bear with us while we overcome the technical glitch. We didn't expect it. So kindly bear with us briefly as we sort it out. We do apologize for this. It's the first time that we're doing a simultaneous meeting together in the same location on two different Zoom logins. So just kindly bear with us briefly as we put it together. I do appreciate your patience with us. All right. Hello, everybody. Come on, somebody say hello. Don't make me feel bad now. Come on, don't make me feel bad. This is already embarrassing. Hello, everybody. Please lift me up. Okay. So I'm going to be seated next to the First Lady. The First Lady was so calm about it. She says, honey, just come and sit with me and let's do it together, darling. It's going to be okay. Calm down. I'm panicking and she's saying calm down. So come on. How many of you ladies know a good woman makes a man better? Come on, give me some love up there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so very much for your patience.
Not gentlemen.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. And what I'm going to do is I want to welcome our first speaker this evening. She's already present with us, and we're just going to let her jump right on in this evening. Her Excellency Mariett Ramm. Mariett, you are so welcome. It's an absolute pleasure to have you with us, and we'll get through this together. Mariett, very welcome to you this evening. You're welcome, man. Please unmute yourself.
You gotta unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself. Just click on mute.
Yes.
I just saw that the host can only unmute. So great. Apologies for the delay. Finally, technical issues all sorted out. So very happy indeed.
All right.
Let the ladies come.
The ladies. Mm-hmm.
So everything is all fine. You can hear me. You can see me. I can.
Yes, we can see you, and I will do the official introduction. Mariett Ramm, Her Excellency Mariett Ramm, is an international speaker, #1 best-selling author, and award-nominee entrepreneur. She's widely regarded as the go-to source on family office governance, entrepreneurial startups, success, angel investment, and women empowerment. Additionally, Mariett has been invited to speak to summit audiences across the world, including Exponential Growth Strategy Leadership Summit, Russian Export Club, Lead India's Sustainable Inclusive Development, and she is the co-host and international ambassador of the prestigious High Net Worth Event Annual Business Summit, International Honors Dubai. She has published more than 300 exclusive thought leadership articles for the Billionaire Chronicle, and she's the official member of Forbes Business Council. Mariett is the international partner of World Business Angel Forum, and her entrepreneurial excellence earned her the nomination for Venus, the Working Woman's Oscar Award, in 3 categories. She's a #1 Amazon best-selling author, and her book, The Entrepreneur's Ultimate Guide to LinkedIn, shot to the #1 Amazon Online Services bestseller 1 day before its launch. She had the honor to work with one of the longest-serving prime ministers of the Commonwealth, the longest-serving prime minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Denzel Llewellyn Douglas, and a prince of Yugoslavia as their patrilineal descendant of Alexander, that long name that I'm going to make sure you call it for us, because I'm not going to put myself in trouble. So please make sure you call that name for us. Prince of Serbia, Prince Michael of Yugoslavia. Mariett's honors include being recognized as a Dame of Honor and Global Goodwill Ambassador of United Nations accredited humanitarian organization headquartered in India. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a class of SteelE welcome to Mariett Ram, come on now. You're welcome, Mariett.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, and respected class of SteelE, Your Excellency, Dr. Michael SteelE, First Lady Ambassador SteelE, Your Excellencies and respected participants. It's my absolute pleasure and honor to be the very first guest speaker of the inaugural class of the Class of SteelE Ladies Conference under the determined and enduring leadership of His Excellencies. So let me jump right into this. The 21st century has brought a new hope and has empowered women really in a positive manner, because once upon a time women were under the shadow of a husband or a father, but now they have established their own identity and their independence. Women really are the epitome of strength and love and sacrifice and courage. And really the role of women in today's world has changed significantly and for the better. Women are more self-sufficient, they are more well aware, they are financially more independent, and they have attained immense success also in many fields, in sports, in politics, in academics, and a lot more. And with the encouragement of co-education, women are really today can march side by side along with men in every walk of life. And before you think that it's going to be a very hardcore feminist speech, I have to make it clear that my approach to women empowerment and femininity is a very humble and very peaceful approach. Because in my opinion, I think to create a new life, basically a man and a woman is needed, because one alone is just not enough. I hope everybody agrees. And Bible says that God blesses the man and woman and commands them to be fertile and multiply. That's in Genesis 1:28. And then Jesus repeats these teachings from Genesis when he says that, but from the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. And this is a really excellent representation what we can see right now with His Excellency and the First Lady together. Is just beautiful to see both of you in one screen. So up until this century, men and women's roles were fairly well defined. I mean, women were expected to be the mothers, the wives, taking care of the husband's well-being, raising children, and then the man had to provide for the family. But today, really, the lines between the male and the female roles, they are becoming more blurred, and women tend to be just as much ambitious, if not more, in the business world as men. I mean, men, they really kept their position and functioning in society and family, because men, they are protectors. They are the leaders, they are the teachers. And even today, a lot of women prefer a man to play a role of the leader. But also because of all these changes, our society really gives men a chance to be much more connected with the family. And women, they have an opportunity basically to develop their own identities and not solely defined by motherhood. Therefore, I really believe that education enables a woman to organize herself, to increase self-reliance, and really to provide greater autonomy. I want to emphasize really the importance of the father figure here as well in child and the family. I think it's very important to address this in women empowerment, because without men, I think we would not be in the same situation as we are. And men are really fundamental when it comes to parenting, when it comes to raising families. Parenting involves two people. Absolutely. I found these, if you listen to this, it's very interesting. It's known that children from single parent families tend to have more difficulties in grown-up life And some studies suggest that kids that were raised without a father or had no father figure in their lives are more likely to be aggressive, quick to anger, involved in illegal activities, be dropped out of school and universities due to the lack of effort and motivation, and having psychological and emotional problems stopping them from creating their own families. I think this is absolutely fascinating. On the other hand, children raised by caring father have been have better educational outcomes, better verbal skills, intellectual functioning, and many other advantages. No matter what the current state of a man is, the role of the husband and the father is definitely invaluable and can never be substituted. And I always champion men, and I thanking them every day for the immense support and the guidance in my personal and professional life. And I'm sure that most of you, I really hope that most of you can relate to this. So starting really with the right for education. And when we think about gender equality and women empowerment, this is not something that happened overnight. Many women had to sacrifice a lot in terms of personal life for a greater cause. And I wanted to be really clear on the figures here, is that Women Equity Day, sorry, my pronunciation is a little bit leaving me off here. So, but Women Equity Day celebrated on the 26th of August in the US and commemorates the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution, granting women the right to vote. And it was certified in 1920. Despite being introduced many years earlier in 1878. So it really took from 1878 to 1920 to achieve this. And since 1972, every president in the United States publishes a proclamation from Women's Equity Day. So only because of these very, very, very strong women, we have been able to reach this point society. And I really want to test you, I don't know which time zone you are in right now. I know that His Excellency and First Lady in the UK, I myself in France, but you just came on and really want to get the movement flowing. So are you in a little quiz this morning? Just a very, 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 very short quiz. So I want you to grab a piece of pen and a paper, everybody, or a mobile phone, everything that you can actually make a note with. And I want you to write down 10 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. And each answer that you could get, have a tick or an X or whatever. Yes, I did it. Let's see what we know. I mean, I was absolutely fascinated to find these things about all the women who did just fabulous things. And I was wondering that, how much we can actually remember, because these women, they were really they were making the path for us. So number one is, I'm looking for a lady's name. And I also would like to, if I give you 5 seconds to write down the lady's name, if you know, and then let's give a shout out if we can do, but I think everybody is on mute, His Excellency. So I don't know if we can give a shout out aloud, because it would be really great to get the flow going. You are muted as well.
Okay, should I unmute all?
Yeah, unmute all. Have a little discussion about it. I really hope that you will.
Yes. It is done. Request is granted.
So let everyone please unmute yourselves.
When you're ready to speak, you can unmute yourself.
Fabulous. So number 1, we are looking for 10 out of 10 here. We are looking for 10 out of 10. I'm going to give you clues. And I'm looking for a lady's name. Radioactivity, twice winner of Nobel Prize, Polish physicist and chemist. You should be able to know this by now. Radioactivity, twice Nobel Prize winner, and the Polish physicist and chemist.
That's what it is.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anyone? It was Mary Curie. It was Mary Curie.
Mary.
Mary Curie.
That's right. That's right. The only woman with 2 Nobel Prize, and obviously her work on the radioactivity field was absolutely groundbreaking. But so if you got it, have a tick. If not, then me. Number 2. So 2 names, 2 ladies' names, and all I need from you is an activity. So you need to put down an activity as an answer. The 2 names are, one is Gertrude Caroline Adele, who did something across the English Channel in 1926. And the other name is Catherine Schweitzer, who did something in Boston. Yes. Who did something in Boston. So these ladies were involved in the same activity. What was the activity? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Swimming.
Sports.
Swam. They swam
Absolutely.
across. Yeah.
Absolutely. Swimming and running. Sports.
Definitely. Sports. Yeah. Sports. Yeah.
Fabulous. So a tick or a little X. So here's a definition. This might sound a little bit scientific, but this area is absolutely groundbreaking what women achieved in this field, really from the 1960s up until today. Here's a definition, and I'm looking for a word that what is being defined. Okay, so ... is a boundless 3-dimensional extent in which objects and events have relative position and direction. So again, so ... the word that I'm looking for, is a boundless 3-dimensional extent in which objects and events have relative position and direction. And the names, I'm going to give you some names, and I'm going to give you some activities for clues that what is this word, this defined word that I'm looking for. Lady 90, think about what was going on in the US around the end of the 1960s. Margaret Heathfield, who was a director of software engineering for a very, very, very special program. A Russian-born lady, Valentina, I can't pronounce, but that should tell you anything. US and Russia, end of the 60s. Then there is another lady who is an astronaut, and she became known as the first mother in the word that I'm looking for, Annelie Fisher. I don't know if the name says anything to you. And Commander Eileen Collins, who was the first female shuttle pilot and mission commander. And these are just the very, very, very few who achieved just amazing achievements. So what is that word that I'm looking for? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Innovation.
Space, absolutely. NASA, Apollo, all the moon landing.
Apollo, yeah.
Astronaut, yeah.
Yeah, the NASA astronaut Annelie Fisher, who became the first mother in space in 1984.
Astronauts, yeah.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Right. Number 4, which country, do you know, which country had the first female fighters? And we are going back to the 1800s, yes. I was absolutely astonished to find out, because this is really the commencement of female of women empowerment, so to speak. And the idea, I can say that continent-wise, you can look towards the Asia Pacific.
Oh. What fighters, Asia?
And these ladies were very, very, very hard. They knew how to fight. At the time, it's actually 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's India. India.
The tiger.
Yeah, little bit east, little bit
India.
east, little bit east.
India.
It was Japan. It was actually
Japan.
yeah, I was absolutely astonished. They were called the, as you know, that the geisha tradition, but they were called the Onabu geisha. And these ladies were basically trained the same way as the samurai, and they were fighting. Basically, they were participating in fights alongside their counterparts. So Japan is leading the way. I was absolutely astonished. Right. So the ladies, I think I give a yes to the India, because you were so close. You were really getting so close there. Okay. The next one is I think I can ask for the name, because this should be quite an easy one. Who was the first lady aviator who flew solo across the Atlantic Ocean? And that was in 1928.
Emily Earhart.
Emily Earhart, yeah.
Got it. Fabulous.
That's my role model.
I can see a lot of things going on there.
Emily Earhart. Yeah.
So we are nearly there. Who said this? Who said this? Despite everything, I believe people are really good at heart. Despite everything, I believe that people are really good at heart. And there is another one, that no one has ever become poor by giving. I'll give you two more hints. Diary and Jewish.
Anne Frank.
Correct. Yay! Fabulous. That's right, Anna Frank with her really well-known diary. So when you think about civil rights activism, when it comes to women, what's the first name that sparks? This was a lady of color. Everything started on a public transport vehicle, so to speak. She refused to give her seat up.
Rosa Parks.
Yeah, Rosa Parks.
Correct. Stick or X? So, which garment? We are going back to all the way to 1907. So that was well before women were actually given the right to vote. 1907. Which garment led to an arrest of a woman?
Was it a pants?
There was a garment, a lady who promoted a garment, and she was actually arrested for indecency.
Was it a pants?
A pants?
It was a one-piece bathing suit. It was a one-piece bathing suit in 1907.
Okay.
Can you imagine it right now? In
I nearly said it.
Okay. Tick or X? I give you an animal and I'm looking for a lady's name. Chimpanzee. What's the lady's name?
Chimpanzee.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jane Goddard, who is the leading primatologist and conservationist, and she's really championing for the chimpanzees and their race to survive. She's done some incredible things. And to close it all, I think this is very much the crown. Who said this again? I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. She's also said that the hunger for love is much more difficult to remove than the hunger for bread. And
Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, what's the score? What's the score? We reached our top 10. Who managed to do 10? Anyone with 10? No. Anyone with 9? 8, 7, 6. That's good. That's good. 3 is good. That's pretty good. 5. Fabulous. I love that. I must admit, having not read the questions prior, probably I would have scored between 3 or 5 as well myself. Okay, so let's get back to, I really hope that you enjoyed that. Let's get back to the thread here of basically about changing the role of women. And the role of women has really changed tremendously, and they have been able to create a positive impression in society. Really from housewives to CEOs, the transition can be seen at an accelerating rating. And the modernization and the advancement of the latest technologies has really widened the hope and opportunities for women. What do you think? Just again, have a think about, don't have to write or say anything, but what do you think the global advantages are of female education? What are the advantages? And when I'm going to say out the feminist, just think about it, that how it resonates with you personally. Education, women education is really good for economic growth and for communities.
Yeah.
To intergenerational success. At the end of the day, women are the ones who are more raising the next generation. It also promotes social inclusion. It promotes good health. It decreases the chances of abuse, of delaying marriage and child and mother mortality rates, and all the issues that unfortunately developing countries are really struggling right now, even today. Education is really key to success. Empowering women would become more pertinent if women were well informed and educated. And a woman needs to understand that her rights is that she can walk at par with the man. And here I'm going to have to, because I got so excited about the quiz that I completely mixed up my papers, and I need to find the page here. There it is. So when women are empowered to lead full and productive lives, children and families prosper. I think that's the main takeaway here. And education is really a milestone of women empowerment because it enables women to respond to challenges, to confront the traditional role, and change their lives. And education is not only educates a woman, but it enables her to take decisions and accept responsibilities at her home and also in the outer world, because an educated female population correlates with lower child and mother mortality rates and more education for children of both genders, and is being linked to less war and decreased poverty. And while doing my research for this event, I found a very interesting passage, and I would like to read it out to you aloud because I just feel that I could not do any justice, but it's just so beautifully put down. And this really sums up what women empowerment really stands for. Women empowerment is the process in which women elaborate and recreate what it is that they can be, do, and accomplish in a circumstance that they previously were denied. Empowerment can be defined in many ways. However, when talking about women empowerment, empowerment means accepting and allowing people, as in women, who are making process into it. This puts a strong emphasis on participation in political structures and formal decision-making, and in the economic sphere on the ability to obtain an income, money, that enables participation in economic decision-making, i.e., who's going to buy what, and is that going to be bought, and what's going to happen. I'm sure, ladies, you can, if you are in a relationship, you can relate to this. Please say thumbs up if you know what I'm talking about when it comes to economic decision making in a family. Empowerment is the process that creates power in individuals over their own lives, society, and in their communities. People are empowered when they are able to access the opportunities available to them without limitations and restrictions, such as education, profession, lifestyle choices. Feeling entitled to make your own decisions creates a sense of empowerment. Empowerment includes the action of raising the status of women through education, literacy, raising awareness, and training. And women's empowerment is all about equipping and allowing women to make life-determining decisions through different problems in society. I just say it's all about decision making. It's all about inclusion. It's actually, the lines are, when we talk about women empowerment as such, the lines are, it's not just a box. It's so interconnected with various other issues as well. And this brings me to a different point, which is really sustainability and sustainable development. Because women's empowerment and achieving gender equality, which is, in a way, this is what we're talking about, is essential for our society to ensure a sustainable development of a country. And gender equality is really, in itself, is seen as a sustainable development goal by the United Nations. The interconnections between environmental sustainability and women's empowerment have often been overlooked, particularly in the environmental movement. First of all, gender equality is what is gender equality? Is a moral obligation, is an imperative, whether you are in government, in NGOs, in businesses, in research institution, is something that is just the right thing to do. And I came across a research paper, Women Empowerment, a Key to Sustainable Development. This was written by Dr. Monique Kashai Loni and Professor Lau Aburaida. I do apologize, Indian professors, who made some interesting observations with regards to women empowerment, as it is as a process and a sustainable development in itself, and it encompasses really socio-cultural, economic, and environmental aspects. It basically covers an enormously wide domain, and so far gender issues have primarily been dealt with as a social issue. But women's empowerment, it's not only about human rights. It's because they are a pathway to achieving the sustainability goal, the Millennium Development Goals that are outlined by the United Nations. And these 17 goals, that's based on the success of sustainable development, includes certain other areas as well, such as climate change, economic inequity, innovation, sustainable consumption, peace and justice, just a few out of the 17. But these goals are really interconnected. And some interesting figures that I found from various sources and really make you think that how empowering women empowerment can really be, and how it contributes to sustainability and sustainable economic growth in years to come. Women today, okay, they, as opposed to 2021, in 1972, no, actually this could be made into a quite interactive part as well. If Your Excellency could unmute as well, because I'd love to hear if you've got any ideas. When I saw these figures, I thought, wow, this is just amazing what women have accomplished on an economic level and how they contribute, and geopolitically, geoeconomically, how they are really becoming the movers and shakers is just phenomenal. So compared to 1972, so that's quite a few years back, but back then, the women's small business orders were 4.6%. Today, it's close to 40, okay? Today, the highest percentage of women-owned businesses, where do you think it is? Where do you think that the highest percentage of women-owned businesses are today? Yes. I think you are very close. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to hear just a big shout out. Maybe His Excellency's been muting.
I'm actually on mute, and I see Adiola Olukoya is looking like she wants to answer. If just wave your hand at me and I will see you, and I will unmute you quickly.
Fabulous.
Just put your hand like that, do like that. Say hi. Is that Sinyat? Sinyat, you have an answer?
See if they put it in chat. Maybe they put it in chat.
Okay, let's see. No answers, Your Excellency.
Patience.
Yes, I see Patience. Sorry, Patience. Unmute yourself, Patience. Go on, Patience.
I think 60%.
You're very close. We are very, very close. Is actually
75.
It's actually Ghana. Ghana has the highest percentage of women-owned businesses, 52. It's absolutely, and Uganda is number 2, and Vietnam. This is really interesting that the sub-Saharan areas and Asia Pacific are really dominating when it comes to female leadership. in 2017, how many percent do you think of women of color accounted for new female-owned business launches? So that's only 5 years ago. How many percent do you think women of color?
40% maybe.
The first lady said 40%.
Up.
55%.
Up.
Really? 60%?
71%.
Nice.
Amazing. Hats off to you guys. Hats off to you ladies.
71%.
71% ladies of color. That's interesting.
Nice.
Where do you think that women who are the most ambitious and they are more, where are the women based who are the most ambitious and most likely to do business internationally?
Barbados.
Good guess, because you've got some origins there. Absolutely, it's the MENA region, Middle East and North Africa. Yeah.
Oh, North Africa.
Yeah, and they are even surpassing the rate of male-owned companies by 29%. So they are really, in terms of international build and international focus in the MENA region for women, they are really dominating. And yeah, I can imagine that. I can see a lot of upcoming startups, ladies-run startups, who are doing incredibly well in the MENA region. These are great numbers here again. Between 1972 up until today, more or less, couple of years, I think that the study is about 2 years old. So 30-ish years, the growth from women-owned businesses in the United States went up from 400,000 to, what do you think the number in 30 years? Women-owned businesses in the US in 30 years, from 400,000 up to, I can say that the numbers are in millions.
Millions. Wow.
Yeah, it's 12.3 million. So basically 4 out of every 10 businesses, 40% in the United States, are now owned by a lady.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And more than that, an encouragement for startups when it comes to unicorn company. A unicorn is basically a startup with a valuation more than $1 billion. In 2019, 10 companies founded by women who became unicorns. So I think that's fabulous. That's fabulous. So it's just no stopping. And on the economy basis, because I see myself, especially because I work a lot with angel investors and VCs, and when it comes to pitching and when it comes to return on investment, is that, why do I actually want to put my money in this company? Is this company are they going to deliver? Am I going to get my return on investment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And investing, very interesting finding by the Boston Consulting Group, but they were studying 350 startups. They found that every dollar invested, businesses founded by women generate revenue almost 2 times higher than founded by men. So in effect, a business that is run by a lady is a safer bet for investors and financial backers.
I can imagine.
Next time somebody doesn't want to give you any money or investment, you tell them this, that look at this research from the Boston Consulting Group. We can actually do better returns than the guys can. That's it. So, and finally, and that's again an interesting finding that comes from the CNN, that approximately 65% of women-owned businesses have $100,000 or less in debt, as opposed to half of male-run firms have more than 100,000 in debt. So this indicates really that women are actually more careful with resources and more careful with allocation, and they know they basically know where to put the money. So investors are not going to be completely mad or because you are wasting their hard-earned money. Yes, so I just thought that these were absolutely amazing. And women empowerment in itself, the sustainability goals, gender equality. This is really something that is going to be a mover and shaker coming on. And I'm very honored and very, very excited for the Class of Steel Ladies Conference and the continuation, and all the speakers to come after me, what they've got to share, and all the participants, obviously, because you yourself, you carry this message, you live this message day after day after day after day, and you've got to be really a vital part of this community and a vital part of basically moving the economy, moving families, and moving communities forward. Because it all starts, I believe, it all starts from one. You know, if you start as a strong person in your community, and you show what we are made out of, and obviously with humility, with respect, and I want to show, I really want to emphasize that, you know, that unity is, and I love seeing you, Your Excellency, and the First Lady again on the camera. I thought it was very endearing indeed, the two of you, because it just shows an absolute unity of where we can go together, where we put all the resources. And let me close with this line here, a quote from Sheryl Sandberg, who said, "We need women at all levels, including the top, to change the dynamic, reshape the conversation, to make sure women's voices are heard and heeded, not overlooked and involved." So we need you, ladies. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Mariett Ramm. That was very, very enlightening. Great information shared. I hope the ladies took it on board, because when we're opening our businesses, as she said, we need to have all these facts so we can convince them why it's good to invest in us, and we know what we're talking about. So well done. Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you.
Yes. So Mariett, I'm going to have some questions for you. Some further questions we have for you.
If I can.
If you can find where you put them, they were just there.
Don't worry about it. I was malicious in on the computer, so don't worry. We'll get your questions for you.
Okay. The first question, Mariett. Why and how is a woman's voice different when building relationships?
Specifically relationship when it comes to family, or when in business?
Specifically in business, because when you finished off, you gave us statistics based on business and how women are growing in business and how we are actually growing our economies, because we're opening more businesses and it's helping our communities. So specifically in business, how is it for business?
It's interesting to observe that getting into situations that really where you feel like you are the gender minority, it kind of puts a pressure of that maybe I should be someone, despite the fact that I know what I'm representing here, I know my beliefs, I know my values, and I know why I have to be here. But somehow there is something that says that maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I can't speak up. Maybe I have to wait for the decision makers. There is, and all I can think is that it's something that becomes really from a cultural background, from an upbringing perspective, and really something that's been engraved not just into me, but because of my genetic input. It's really something that's coming from my grandmothers. And I myself, I love to see all this diversity of ladies, and I'd love to actually know that where you are actually based, because I myself, I was born in Hungary, so the family itself, it was very much coming from Eastern and Middle Europe. So we are talking about Slovakia, the Ukraine, Romania, Serbia, Austria. So I kind of ended up in this kind of pile. And I know that from what I could remember from my grandmothers, that they were not regarded really as a decision maker, in a decision-making capacity. And they had to kind of, they stood up for what they believed was their responsibility, as in the family, and looking after the children, and making sure that you know, everybody had clean clothes and food to eat, and a clean house and husband, blah, blah, blah. But really that was it. And I'm kind of coming to this fact, this point of when I'm feeling that, and everything that I put into the speech before is that I feel there's a need for education. I feel there is a need for voice. I think there is a need to say out that, you know, I've got my own strength, and, you know, I'm here to nurture the society. I'm here to nurture my community, and I'm bringing something completely different to the table. And always when approaching, I noticed that in a business discussion, if it really goes like, okay, let's see the papers, let's see the pitch deck, let's see the white paper, let's see the ROI, let's see this business document, what's your proposition? This is something that you would always end up as really at the kind of underdog, so to speak. But if the conversation is really turned into a way that it's human to human, and I really love the fact is that now there is more emphasis about it, that before we actually start to do some business, you know, let me know who you are. Do I actually want to know business? Do I actually like you? Do I actually want to do business with you? And this very much works on a human to human level. And in that point, it's interesting to see that it's almost like a transition, a pivot from a male's perspective, that they are actually opening up. They are actually opening up the friendship, or, you know, it could remain a friendship. It could become a romantic relationship if a lady is free and both of them free. But it's really a connection on a human level. And I think that's when that unity, that's when the kind of the word that I'm really looking for is tolerance. Is tolerance. I'm tolerant of where you're coming from, and I'm really willing to see your perspective, your side of the table, because I like you. You know, you're a nice guy, you're a nice girl, and vice versa. And I think that is just a very, very slow, continuous kind of movement towards across of that. You know, I know you, I want to know more about you, I respect you, and therefore, you know, bring something more to the table. And I think women can really be empowering, but just by showing that vulnerability that we have. You know, men don't have that power, but vulnerability, I think, is a huge power.
Thank you. The second question I have, we're speaking about sisterhood of different countries and regions, and what are the takeaways? How women can build bonds? How can we build bonds together?
For example, right here, right now, I think we are building something absolutely amazing. I just love to see what I've got right now on the top. Obviously, I've got two of you. I've got Bella. Hi, Bella. Hi, Louise. Hi, Leah. this is where it all starts. This is where it all starts. And again, going back, emphasizing the human connection of it. Just connect with a smile. Hey, how you doing? Are you okay? And move along. And I'm really appreciating with small movements, leadership movements like the class of SteelE Ladies Conference, because we are all together, ladies and gentlemen as well, not to forget about you. Sorry, Your Excellency. Is that we are here because we share something similar. We are all made out of the same mold, so to speak, regardless of color, of race, or regardless of anything. But we really share something really fundamental, and it goes a lot more beyond than just superficial society rules, so to speak. And I think, again, going back to vulnerability, going back to the fact of being open and allowing us to be open, because I know that there is a lot of sometimes I get get referred to someone or introduced to someone, and I can feel that there is. Have you ever been in a situation where you're face to face with someone and you just feel you felt that it just wasn't right? There was just something wasn't right. It's like I don't know whether this is going to work, and another situation when it's like, wow, I've got a feeling after 5 minutes that I've known you for like all my life. Have you ever I just want to see some I just want to see some nodding if you ever felt this. And just being able to be vulnerable and with an open heart, with an open mind, just to go out and really get to know people, and being open to actually to see the different perspective. Just because I was raised in Central Europe, by the way, that I was raised, and with the genetic makeup, that doesn't define me. Absolutely not. If you are someone from Uganda or from the Alaska or Siberia or Japan, okay, let's sit down and let's have a conversation, because I know that there is something between us that's going to bind us. That's my my perspective on this.
Yes, question.
Okay. Yeah, go on. You can ask.
One of the other questions that I saw, which I said to First Lady, I'm very interested in this one. What are the examples of positive changes you have noticed in the workplace? And very interestingly, I want to hear your take on it, because you are in the HNW category, and you're in a more male-dominated environment within the financial circles at your level, managing family assets and portfolios. And what are the examples of positive change that you've noticed for women that were not there before, or as a matter of fact, you yourself had to pioneer some of those changes?
Correct. You're very, very correct, Michael. I think women are right now. How can I let me start from step number one, from the beginning. When it comes to high net worth, and I think you can imagine the situation. For example, a yacht in Monaco, or the Grand Prix in Abu Dhabi, and you can see these various boxes, the flashy cars. You can see the beautiful ladies that are dressed up and carrying the number plates, or offering the drinks around, and they're all beautiful. Or yacht exhibitions, you can see the beautiful hostesses, but they don't really do anything else. And that's been really, and I understand, a beautiful woman is beautiful, there's just no other way around it. but it was just for the sake of showing the superficiality, so to speak, and say, okay, the ladies are there, they do what they are best at in terms of dressing up beautifully and makeup and offering champagne and caviar and all the rest of it. And then us guys, you know, we go and then, you know, we do the business at the end of the day. And I think that is changed so much. Women, I think, when they really started to come out of the kind of the background, and yes, this takes courage. This takes courage to actually to say that I'm not just a woman who can dress up beautifully and smile amazingly and appear with His Highness or His Excellency or whatever at certain functional events. I'm more than that. And I'm actually brave enough to open my mouth. I am committed enough to do my research and put everything down on a piece of paper and speak up, because this is what I believe in. And more women are actually, it's kind of not in a confrontational way, but in a way that we want to help the ultra high net worth and the high net worth organizations to actually advance. And we feel that there is various roles, and here particularly they're talking about public relations, marketing, and various HR roles that are very important when it comes to the communication skills. A lady's communication skills is nothing. There are some guys who, Your Excellency, you are a perfect communicator, but I've seen guys who their communication skills is definitely needs some some improvement. But in general, ladies at much ease at communicating, and that goes the same way that when it comes to actually, drawing in like certain partnerships into the business. And again, approaching it from the human side. And because, yes, a lady that looks nice, she smiles nice, plus she's got a brain as well. And she's actually, she could do actually something for our family office. She could do something for our private office. Let's see how it goes. So it's actually the trust starts to build up slowly and slowly and slowly and slowly. And they realize that, oh, by the way, she is actually a huge asset to my business when it comes to soft skills and attracting the partnerships, the collaborations that I'm actually looking for. I have seen, this is particularly my specialty of area, but I also have seen a lot of ladies who are taking an active interest in the financial perspective, especially with cryptocurrencies, with blockchain, with the blockchain development. A lot of ladies who are very, very keyed in and very much on the point of what's happening in technology, how the different systems should be approved, what's the actual mechanism that we could actually provide certain things and actually make it into a unicorn, when it's looking at those numbers of unicorns, 10 unicorn by ladies. And I think it's going to be more and more and more the effect. So ladies can have a very technical and a very sharp angle as well. And I think because of all the education, because all the emphasis and all the ambassadors who are really going into explaining what women empowerment and gender equality really is, and in a peaceful way, because it's about unity. It's not about, oh, I'm a female and I'm going to fight for my rights and let's do. No, it's not about that. And I think one that is noticed, one that is on the message is understood. I think the actual the really protection level from the other sex, because at the end of the day, the stronger sex, the protector, I should be the one who would be leading this. So they are threatened in a way, obviously. So they have to provide some sort of a protection for themselves. But once they see this really non-confrontational approach, that protection layer that really just kind of peels off, disappears, and then we can really start working together as a team and put the best of both together.
Yes, thank you. How do you think the world will change in the next 5 years to encourage women to man dominated areas?
Oh, wow.
That's good.
I love that question. Wow, I'd love to know what your the other ladies' ideas and inspiration after this. 5 years, it really seems like when I go through my Twitter feed, sometimes it's just the innovation, the change right now is every day something different. It's just so fast. I mean, if you think about it, that all the lights and the television, and now we've got everything. I mean, what's going to happen next month? I mean, 5 years, it really seems like almost like 500 years, 50 years ago. You know what I mean? It's absolutely, it's just incomprehensible what's going to happen. But I'm really hoping from a perspective of really gender equality, and when it comes to being in line with the UN SDGs and SDG 5, as I mentioned prior, that is going to be achieved. And with regards to the African countries and sub-Saharan countries, where I know issues such as child marriages and quite a lot of that, but I don't want to go into it. I'd rather keep it on a positive basis. Is that there's going to be some understanding that these women are really actually becoming the backbone of the economy, and really reversing something that's been based on a corruptive level into something that actually can spiral into that interconnectedness in terms of poverty reduction and putting food on the table, and and drinking water, and the justice and the sustainable communities and all. And I'm just really hoping that the openness is going to be there, and that's why I think classes and the class of SteelE and conferences such as this are really fundamental to give a micro level understanding and a micro level leadership. Because if everybody's going to start to think the same way as we do already, and we go out and we start to share our ideas, it's just kind of spreading. It kind of sounds like a little bit like network marketing, but but it just spreads something that is positive. And I do believe in micro level approach when it comes to the social development goals of the UN. And this is what I believe in. This is what I talk about. And if you can't feed 100 people, just feed one. And that's my policy. That's my approach.
Wonderful, thank you. My final question. This is the final question I have for you. Yes. What would your advice be to your younger self? Any and also any advice that you have received from senior men or women, in your life that has helped to propel you forward. What would you like to share with us that could help us go forward?
Question. Thank you.
Yes.
I think the advice would be is that I should be more patient. I should be more patient. And really, when I did my cut the long story short, 2016, I went through a really fundamental personal change. And I actually started to become more open to see what's on the other side, and become more not really respected, because I've always respect is something that I was drummed into me from very much from an early age, but more in terms of acceptance with tolerance of that's you. Those are your views. And I'm okay with that. And I really want to live that through you. And I think that opened a big horizon to me. And patience, definitely patience, and don't jump anything into it. If someone says this is great, you've got to do this today, definitely don't do it. You know. Urgency, there is urgency and there is urgency, okay? And if someone says that, you know, oh, there is a great deal and there is a great stay, and you know, the last thing you purchase, and if you know, spend the $50, $100, don't spend it, leave it in your purse. I've done that. It's like, oh no, you know.
Thank you so much. Thank you so very much, Mariett, for everything that you have said. It was really, really thought-provoking. I think it gave everyone, because it has given me a lot to think about with regards to women and where we have come from and the impact that we're having today, and as well as the impact that I'm sure we're going to have in the future. Yes.
You know, I want to appreciate you, Your Excellency Mariett Ramm. I sincerely want to appreciate you. My wife, when she initiated this females conference, she spent time with me discussing it, and she's such an amazing behind the scenes person, and I keep pushing her. You know, my wife, she's seated here, but she's a student pilot. She flies plane. And I sent her and I says, hon, you could do anything you want to do. And we sent her to flight school. She passed first, and there are a lot of men that didn't succeed. She was the only woman, the only female that did flight school. And I said that to say this: my wife makes the class of SteelE successful. She stays behind the scenes, but I want men and I want women to recognize that when we appreciate each other's value and each other's worth, and we put our heads together, some amazing things could happen. And your Excellency, I want to celebrate you and all of these ladies that are here. When I look and I see the diversity, I'm really pleased, you know, because this world and what we're going through right now, it dictates that we need a togetherness. We can't be looking at black and white or Christian, Muslim, Buddha. We can't be looking at those things, because right now, everybody needs that humanitarian touch, that brotherly and sisterly coming together. So, Your Excellency, I want to sincerely appreciate you for joining and coming with the class of SteelE. But I'm going to ask you one important question, because for many years, a lot of individuals might have invited or asked you, why have you chosen the class of SteelE? And tell me, because I am genuinely honored we are, but why have you chosen to say that you will be with the class of SteelE and support us? What makes us different?
You know, Your Excellency, it was very much, just to share a little bit of background with you ladies who are watching on the other side. I know you are all muted right now, but Michael and myself, we met probably, I think it's about a year ago, and it was the time when. Well before the first lockdown in the UK, and I think we just had the opportunity to meet in person, and there were quite a few friends there as well, and it was just such a brilliant connection, like I said before as well, about, you know, when you meet someone and you feel like, yeah, you know, this is not right. Or when you say, wow, you know, I've just known this person, either it's a guy or a lady, you know, I've known them for years. And with His Excellency, ladies, I just felt so much at ease, and I really felt that I was respected and accepted. as I was. And it was really not about, okay, let's do the business, what we can do together, but it really on a human level, and it really touched me. And I think that was what really initiated me, that, you know, this is something. So when Michael and I reconnected over Christmas time last year to wish each other's families greetings and exchange some pleasantries, and he started to talk about the conference, and I thought that, you know, I just have to be part of this. I just really have to be part of this. It's something I can't explain it. This is something, again, this is something that goes down on a much deeper level. I think that has to be some kind of a psychoanalytic a psychoanalysis to actually to understand, but it's just felt the right thing to do. And this is some of those fundamental feelings, like your need for food, your need for water. This is what I can actually compare it to, the feeling of it. It's again, it's a very humanitarian angle. It's very much on a basis of yeah, it's just, you know, it's just tolerance and love and respect and compassion. And, you know, Your Excellency, you stand for that, I stand for that. And then I was honored to be introduced to the First Lady, Ambassador SteelE, and yeah, I'm really excited for the journey for the class of SteelE, because I think you guys, you've got something very special, very special.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so much. Are there any questions for Her Excellency? Anybody just have any questions or comments? You're free to do that. You can comment or questions. Anybody that wants to just put a hand up and let us see you.
I can see on my side there are 31 chats, but probably I have not been checking the chats.
I see one hand. I see Comfort. Comfort, can you go ahead, please? Unmute yourself. Comfort is from Ghana. Comfort, you're welcome.
Thank you. And that's a great presentation.
Hi, Comfort. Hi. So lovely to see you.
Yeah. And also lovely to hear from you that we have some women who are also passionate in moving other women forward.
Well, you ladies, definitely in Ghana, you are doing something amazingly fantastic. Hats off to you. You are really driving the
part
continent.
Of the country. Sometimes it just happens, and then I think of it. And then as a woman, you have been empowered, so to speak. But where are those situations when men give you the nod that, oh, you can do this, you have been empowered, do this. But when it comes to a higher level, then they would like to push you aside so that they handle it. They can't imagine themselves being there while you as a woman being at the top directing affairs. In this way, what is the way forward?
Yeah. What was your biggest takeaway of the last hour that really grabbed you?
Go ahead, Comfort, please. The question, unmute yourself, Comfort, please.
There was a marriage ceremony quite recently, and now I'm supposed to do the house, that is the traditional marriage. And then another also bishop will also do the officiating of the wedding. But just as before I was called to do the traditional marriage, I found that this man just got up and then started doing the traditional marriage. So I just became quiet. And after we left the place we attended the wedding, he also took up and then did the wedding ceremony. And I just thought to myself, they always call me that they're happy I'm the bishop and this, but when it got to certain occasions, they can't find sitting down and then allowing the lady to be at the helm of affairs. So in this, what do you do? But thank God that God gave me the calmness. I was calm. I did not do anything. I just
Okay.
Is it just my end, or maybe Comfort's reception is a little bit?
Yeah, it's a bit of a reset.
participated nicely and then just forgot about the whole thing. But I'm thinking that
Okay, it's her bandwidth. We have another half. Patience, you have another hand. Go ahead, Patience. Patience
as we want
also.
to move ahead in some years to come, we are being placed in a high position.
Hi, Patience. Hi. I love your name. It's a beautiful name.
Thank you very much. And that was a good presentation. I got lost actually. I am interested in those questions and I don't know if I can get it. That's just my own. The history is a very good part of me. So I want to know more and I want to know the answers. I got some, but I didn't get some because I was offline. So I don't know if I can get the questions and the answers were echoing because every one of us were answering at the same time. So I think that was basically my questions. I just want to get it correctly. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Don't worry, ladies. For those of you who might have missed anything, it is being recorded live and you will have the opportunity to listen to it at your own convenience. And that's part of being a registered person to join. So you guys will have access to that again. I see Leah. Leah, do you have a question or a comment? Leah? Leah Mello?
Hi, I didn't have a question, but it was very enjoyable, that speech. Thank you.
Hi, Leah. Hi. You were always on the little top there on the right hand side.
That was really fascinating. I think if anything that I took away from this is when you said the amount of women of color, who have started businesses and that. I think that's really fantastic and really promising for the future. That's something I definitely took away from this. So thank you.
Just tell a little bit about you. 2 minutes. Where are you actually based?
I'm in Lancaster, in England.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a PhD student studying Islamic feminism. So I'm very interested in hearing about other perspectives. And I think that's one of the ways to go, really, to bridge miscommunication and the differences that we all have and everything. So
yeah. I've got a couple of friends in Lancaster as well. Yeah, I haven't been since the lockdown and various things. I haven't been able to be back.
Okay, we have another question from Alice Bubu Kudolo. Alice, please unmute yourself, your question or comment.
Yeah, it's a comment. Your Excellencies, I'm so glad and honored to be part of this meeting this morning. Lady Bishop Comfort introduced me into it, and I'm glad to hear that Ghana women are rising. I will confirm to that in my personal life because there was a hitch working with a couple, your couple, being couples working together. Initially, it hasn't been easy, though much of the ideas may come from you, but the men are so domineering. Though you are in the front front, trying to put things in order, manage the affairs of the business. But when it comes to recognition, the men will want to be up there to receive everything. Even if it's an award, they will want to receive it alone, not allowing you for people to know that you are also part of it. But I give God the glory that things are changing. Now I'm able to manage aside what we are doing together. I'm able to run a smaller business aside it. And now my husband sees the impact of what I'm doing and how effective it is affecting the house. And now he's allowing me bit by bit. So I want to encourage the women out there that all is not lost. You keep climbing, keep forcing up, and be determined. At a point, everything will take shape and you'll be happy with what you are doing. Thank you to all of you.
Alice, thank you so much for sharing this. And you are the living example. You are a living inspiration that this is what I said. It's happening. And it's just beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Absolute pleasure to have you and pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Oh, ladies, thank you so very much for your interaction. And we have gone slightly over, but it was well informative. I thoroughly enjoyed. Wait a minute, I see. Is that Victoria, Her Excellency Victoria? Please forgive me.
Oh, Victoria, yes.
Please go ahead, Victoria. Forgive me. That's our COO, okay. Victoria. Go on, Your Excellency. Sorry.
Yes, thank you, my Lord Bishop. Mine is not a question. I just wanted to appreciate Her Excellency, for the presentation that we received this afternoon. It's highly inspiring, highly informative, and highly enriching. It is very educative for those of us that are really burdened with empowerment, and you've really made our eyes to be open. So, Your Excellency, thank you so much.
Victoria, thank you.
Thank you.
I actually saw you as well, along with Leah on the top bar, and I can see your presence itself. I can feel such a positive vibration, and you were really part of the presentation, even though I was speaking. I can feel your energy right from here. Thank you so much. Honored to meet.
Okay, we have, I'm going to go to Amy. I see Amy. You know what? We're just gonna deal with full times around, with all due respect. Ladies, can we do that, please? Can we just honor the ladies and let me just step back, please? Let's just honor the ladies who have their hands up. Amy, where is Amy? Let me find her. Where is she, hon?
I just saw her back up.
Where is it?
Right there. Right there.
Oh, there she is. I'm sorry. Amy, please unmute yourself. And then we're gonna go to Doreen and Flavia. Just go on, ladies. Have your way.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Dr. SteelE. Thank you so much, Your Excellency Mariett Ramm. That was such a beautiful presentation. I am happy and humbled to be here. My name is Amy from Kenya, currently working in South Sudan. And I am very privileged to be part of this group. And thank you, Your Excellency, Jenny SteelE, for arranging and organizing this. I mean, it is bound to move mountains, and what a timely time for you to have this conference at the beginning of the year, 2021. So I'll get straight to it. I'll just speak a little bit about the class of SteelE and the ladies in it. It's a mentoring class that you get to learn a lot from our mentor, His Excellency Reverend Dr. SteelE. Thank you very much. It's such an honor to know you, and also get to learn a lot from the different women across the globe within the class of SteelE. What happens in the class of SteelE, pretty much that I have come to learn and to really appreciate, is the fact that there is a lot of stirring up that is done, and it really makes one uncomfortable in a nice way, because sometimes you're used to being in this cocoon, where this is the way to think. But then again, being part of this group has broadened the way I think. And it's one of the things that I'm really grateful for having joined this class sometime last year towards the last quarter. So I'm really grateful about it. And one of the benefits of being also part of this class is the fact that you're connected to a group of women who end up becoming friends, and they end up becoming our mothers and our sisters and mentors. And it's one of the things that I'm really, really grateful for, also for being part of this group and this class. And again, there's the aspect of looking out after each other. Like Dr. SteelE always says that we are a family. We end up looking after each other no matter what. My experience having been as part of this group is the fact that I joined the class when I was really shy, so I thought, but there's a stirring up that has really happened to me, and I've become, and I have been molded more, and with time I can attest that I've become more bold and more confident with everything that I say. So definitely no regrets for being part of this class. There are also networks that are created that in one way or another, they will help us move together in the right direction, because you find you're in the same group with people of the same mindset. And also, again, like I mentioned, the stirring up, it makes you think beyond the box. You know, we are always boxed sometimes, and there's a way in which this class tends to really broaden your thinking. I run an NGO in Kenya, and my NGO, pretty much, I was just thinking of how it's going to be enclosed within the country, you know, safe haven, without even thinking of how you're going to spread our wings across the globe. But being part of this class has made me realize and has made me think there's a lot of partnerships that are being created currently, and there's a lot of potential of growing and growing roots in other different countries in order to help people out there. There are also fresh ideas that are created by the fact that you're interacting with people across the globe. You get to broaden your mindset from a limited mindset to that of growth and a global mindset. So thank you so much, Dr. SteelE, for having organized such a beautiful thing. I'd like to invite anyone out there who would want to join the class of SteelE. If you want to be a fearless influencer, a fearless leader, and be impactful to the world, look for no further than just coming and being part of this great family. It's such an amazing and beautiful family. It's a community that loves God above all, and you will always feel at home. Someone once said that if you are the smartest person in the room, you should go find a different room. And I am so glad and happy that I found a seat in this class. Thank you very much, Dr. SteelE, for making me part of this. I invite all the others who are not part of this class, come and join and be part of this beautiful family. Thank you so much. Oh no. Thank you. Did you lose me anywhere? Hello. Okay, Alice, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Great. Okay. Okay.
Sorry, we were muted. I'm sorry, we were muted and we're just moving. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry. We didn't recognize we were muted.
Oh.
Sorry. I was thanking you, Amy, for your submission. And then we were also thanking Mariett Ramm, Her Excellency, for her wonderful presentation. I look forward to more greater presentations from her in the year to come, because she's going to do a lot of workshops with the ladies, and she's also a LinkedIn expert. So if you're on LinkedIn, you should connect with Her Excellency Mariett, because she is one of the experts therein. So again, Your Excellency Mariett, thank you so very much. We are grateful to you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been an absolute honor. Thank you, ladies, and thank you, Your Excellency.
God bless you, ma'am. Well, ladies, we're going to bring our next speaker on, and without any further ado, Her name is Miss Hajra Khan. Hajra Khan was born to an Irish mother and South African father during the early 70s in the east of London, where she was brought up and schooled in London suburbs. Immigrating to South Africa, Durban in mid-2000 provided her with a sharp contrast to the racial intolerance of Muslim groups in the UK towards Muslim women of mixed heritage, igniting her writing and passion for highlighting ethical causes through voluntary work with the underprivileged of Durban. I've not seen that word before. Umgeni. She was shown tolerance and acceptance from a poverty-stricken community. She saw the effects and damage of broken promises from a post-apartheid government. Hence, a path was created towards her journey of mediation. Currently, a global consultant on ethical and modest fashion practices, Hajra Khan engages in cross-cultural, racial, and interfaith relations. As a freelance writer and broadcaster, she has been allowed to communicate opinions and break down stereotypes towards Muslim women worldwide and how to navigate mixed heritage identity between different minorities and subgroups in the UK. Contributing to a nonprofit publication produced by history members of Lancaster University has further opened the conversation between modern Islamic art and, there we go, and its relevance in understanding world politics, oppression, and the integration of Muslims into popular culture in the UK. Engaged in contributing to improving understanding between Muslims and non-Muslims with a PhD student publishing work on feminism in Islam, has opened the floor for debate between British Muslim women of mixed heritage and counter stereotypes, allowing for greater academic understanding amongst non-Muslims. Her work aims to dispel ignorance around Muslim women and create understanding of mixed heritage Muslims through mediation, education, and to create connections between people of different backgrounds and beliefs. We have chosen Hajra to come and share amongst our leaders because we've looked and identified that the communities need to focus on our similarities. And as a result of that, she has been chosen to come and present to you today. So ladies and gentlemen, please let us welcome Hajra Khan this evening. You're very welcome, ma'am. And please instruct me when to start the presentation for you.
No problem. Good evening, everybody around the world who's joined us, and good morning for those of us who are in the UK. I'm honoured to be here and to have been invited online. I hope that you can all hear me clearly and follow my presentation. I'm not the most technically apt person, but so with the Reverend SteelE's help, we will get through. I'd like to start my introduction with the Arabic words from the Quran. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most merciful, the most gracious. And the reason I start this, and I recognize that not everybody has a faith, and that we all share different faiths for those of us who do believe. But what I have recognized is whether we identify with a faith or no faith, is that we all recognize that there is a power greater than us. And I invite everybody in good faith to join me in today's talk. So, The Reverend SteelE has already introduced me. And like he said, I'm a journalist and broadcaster and a consultant on various issues. And I'd like to start by discussing my background and the impact of growing up in a society that didn't understand my racial identity. We can move on to the next slide. What you can see here, I've put up lots of pictures on all my slides, and I'll go into that just now. What you can see in the pictures here are members of my family. My mother is, who sadly passed away last year, is Irish. My father, he's South African of Asian descent. And these are just some of my children. Their father was also Asian. So my whole family is extremely mixed. And my current husband, Basim Mohammed, who I'll also talk about later, is British and of Pakistani descent. So we are quite a varied family, and we've all had varied experiences whilst growing up. I think my earliest memories growing up were, I suppose, refusing to be put into a box, a racial box, having to identify my race. I think it wasn't until, I suppose, I entered primary school and I was around 8 years old. Up until that stage, having a white mother and an Asian father, and growing up in an area in East London where we had a mix of people, I think I was quite oblivious to the colour of my skin. It was more important to be respectful to people, and to treat people with kindness. I remember when I was 8 years old, there were a couple of instances in the playground at school, being singled out because my name didn't identify with being white, and being called a derogatory name in the playground. I remember attending religious lessons at the local mosque to learn Arabic in order for me to read the Quran. This should be an enjoyable activity for a child, to be able to understand another language and to be able to recite something in a script that is different from the Gregorian script of what we identify as English. It was my worst nightmare. My mother dropped me to the Islamic centre, the mosque, the local mosque. And as you see, my mother's white. And in those days, my mother didn't cover her head. And most of the Muslim women in my local area in East London didn't cover their heads. But the predominant, I suppose, cultural and racial identity of Muslims in my area were Pakistani. And I was singled out again because my mother was white. How could I be a real Muslim? I didn't speak their language. My mother and myself, we didn't dress the same as them. We didn't wear their cultural clothes. And if it was my father who was dropping us off to the local mosque, although his skin colour was the same as everyone else's who was standing outside waiting for their children, he didn't speak the same language. So unfortunately, and I have to say that thankfully time has moved on, and my own children don't suffer this prejudice. people's minds have opened up, but this is what I grew up with. And I grew up with racism in the reverse, because I looked more white and my mother was white in a predominantly Asian society, and I suppose a sub-society, that being my local area in East London. And that made me quite angry and quite protective of the identity of my family. And angry because there was no connection in those days, and I grew up in the late 70s, early 80s, of Muslims trying to understand that you've emigrated to a country, you know, from you know, whether it's Southeast Asia, you know, that's Pakistan, Bangladesh, India. You've come for a better life, and there was no sort of willingness to reach out and recognize that you're coming into contact with people from all over the world, and that you were going to meet Muslims from all over the world. So I think that my experience didn't really change until I went to college, because again, my school years were dominated by mainly having white friends, and any Asian black friends that we had were in the minority, and any Asian friends that I had were predominantly Indian and from the Hindu or Sikh faith. I remember I had a very good friend who was Muslim and Pakistani at school, and her parents wouldn't allow me to mix with her after a period of time, because they saw, they mistakenly thought that I would be some sort of bad influence on their daughter because I wore Western clothes. And again, you know, we didn't speak the same language. She was expected to conform when she came home. So when I went into her house, I didn't fit into that box. And that was you know, sort of at 14 years old, that was quite hard hitting, and yes, I suppose going back then, that again fueled my prejudice against that section of people in the community. However, when I went on to college later, a few years later, it was the first time I was exposed to being around a lot of Black, Asian, white people, Chinese people, people who had no faith, people who were Jewish, people who were of all persuasions in their way of life, in their religious beliefs, their morals, their ideals. And it was like a revelation for me. And it was also the first time that I had Muslim friends who accepted me as I am. Albeit I remember the first day of registration, my name being called out, Hajra Khan, and everyone's looking for the Asian girl in the classroom, and I answer, and then everyone's sort of looking in confusion because I don't fit that ideal of what Hajra Khan is supposed to look like. But we all got past that, and we all formed valuable relationships, and we learnt from each other. And again, moving on later to university, I took those lessons with me. And thankfully, when you enter a British university, again, you meet people from all over the world, and you don't have to be put into a social box or a racial box, etc. You are allowed to be yourself, whatever that may be. But that was a huge amount of empowerment for me in terms of how I interacted with people outside of my own family, of course. And but I did recognise that sadly there were still pockets of prejudice within groups, religious groups at university. And again, I'm talking about Muslim groups at university. Now, I went to university in Norwich, northeast England, and I remember going to attend prayers during the month of fasting, Ramadan, and we had people from Saudi Arabia and other Arab countries. We had Malaysians attending. We had white English converts attending, people from Africa of all colours. But I remember that one of my friends, who was an older Pakistani lady, was sidelined by some of the Arab women who were from Saudi Arabia, and I saw, sadly, that there was, I suppose, a treatment of what you could call disrespect. And now that I'm older, I can look back, and although there is no justification for that treatment of anybody, regardless of their colour or way of life, as Muslims in a mosque, I mean, I was appalled at the time, but I can see it now, because in those countries, they would have used people from India and Pakistan as their workers in their homes, in their factories. And this is how they developed this prejudice and even sort of master-slave relationship going on. And unfortunately, this is taken outside of their country as well, sometimes. I know this sounds like a really condemning attack on Muslims. I promise it gets more positive as we move along. I have to compare these childhood experiences, or these pockets of negative experiences, with the positives that I encountered. For example, not everything was bad at university. I remember meeting people from Egypt, from Somalia, being joined with Christian groups at university, and it didn't matter what I looked like, what clothes I was wearing, whether my head was covered, whether it wasn't covered. We were all students. We were all there to learn from each other. I look at my parents' own experience growing up here in the UK. I've already explained that they suffered prejudice because they were a mixed race couple. When we visited South Africa, there was quite a contrast. In the 80s, early 80s, apartheid was still sort of filtering out. You know, it hadn't officially been abolished. And my parents would have entered social places like restaurants or casinos even, etc., as a mixed race couple. And this would have caused a lot of curiosity, a lot of attention. But in the 80s, people weren't able to eradicate somebody of colour from those establishments if they had money. So they would have been allowed to stay, would have been allowed to eat. But that nonetheless, that curiosity teetering possibly on prejudice because they were a mixed race couple was still there. Fast forward to when I was living in South Africa, and my experience was completely different. We can move on to slide 2. That's right. I think, my own experience in South Africa allowed me to see that there are lots of open-minded people in the world, that it didn't matter if you were Black, if you were white or Asian. I think because people were coming out of this sort of oppressive apartheid era, they were more willing to correct the faults of their forefathers. They were more willing to engage and learn from each other. I remember I lived on North Beach. I would watch children, they were teenagers, Black, white and Asian, all surfing with each other. I would see different denominations of Christians carrying out their prayers on the beach. When it was time for my own prayers, I didn't have to run back into my apartment. I didn't have to move away from the crowd. I put my head down on the sand if I needed to pray. And I remember seeing a Christian group baptizing one of its members in the sea. And we could all see each other, we could all hear each other, and everyone was respecting each other's space. Everyone was respecting each other's religious practice. And this is part of the point of my talk, is to encourage this tolerance between Muslims and Christians. The relevance of bringing my own parents into this discussion is, my mother was a convert to Islam. She came from a Catholic background, an Irish Catholic background. Her own family accepted her journey towards Islam. My grandmother's argument was always, there is only one God, and it doesn't matter what path we take to him, so long as we are moving towards our Creator. And I'd like to talk about the people who are pushing forward that positivity between Muslim and Christian groups around the world. And we need to bring that mutual respect and understanding and find that connection. I'm a avid supporter of Dr. Craig Considine, who you can see up on the screen. He's an author and a global speaker at Rice University. He's written many books, and his latest publication is The Humanity of Muhammad, a Christian View. And as you can see, I've put a little subcaption there that says he looks at celebrating the message of the Prophet, and that takes the lessons to be learned from our shared beliefs. I think that the quote that I've put up on the screen for you, to show that respect is encouraged between Muslims and Christians, and it is a quote from the Quran. Nearest among them in love to the believers wilt thou find those who say, we are Christians. Because among these men devoted to learning and men who have renounced the world, they are not arrogant. That's from chapter 5, verse 82. What this verse implies is that we have so many similarities that we should respect each other, not create schisms and divisions between us in our faith. At the end of the day, we are a monotheistic faith that come from the Abrahamic tradition. and we are all working towards the same goal and objective. We are all traveling towards the afterlife as Christians and Muslims. We do our best in this world to provide for our fellow human beings, to understand our fellow human beings, to break down misunderstanding, to break down oppression, to end war, to end arrogance. These are common human goals, and these are messages that Christians and Muslims recognize in their own scriptures. I'd like to move on to slide 3, please. Before I discuss all the colourful posters that I have up there, I'd like to leave you with another story about the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him. There was a Christian king in the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, who was known to be just and fair. And he ruled Abyssinia, which is today known as Ethiopia. He was named the Negus. Muslims at that time, fleeing persecution from the Meccan tribe Quraysh, were looking for a place to worship and practice Islam in peace. The Prophet, peace be upon him, at the time advised this group of Muslims to emigrate to Abyssinia and to seek refuge with the Negus king. The tribe of Quraysh sent out emissaries to call back these Muslims, claiming that they were disobedient, that they had been disrespecting their own idolatrous religious practices. They wanted to bring them back and to try them. And now the Negus king, before making his decision, is recorded in the prophetic sayings, which we refer to as the Hadith, as ignoring the Quraysh and refusing to make his decision, even going against the advice of his own court, who had been corrupted by that stage by the Quraysh and bought out. He asked the persecuted Muslims instead for any revelation that the Prophet, peace be upon him, had received from God. And one of the representatives from the persecuted group at that time, Jafar ibn Abi Talib, he recited a verse from the Quran, Surah Miriam, Mary, mother of Jesus, and mention in the book, O Prophet, the story of Mary when she withdrew from her family to a place in the east. That's from chapter 19, verse 16. This is in direct connection with what the Christian king believed, that the mother of Jesus, in order to give birth, she went to a secluded place. She moved away from the world, she moved away from people. And it also confirmed to the king that the Muslims believed in the birth of Jesus, excuse me, and that the Muslims recognized him as a prophet. Upon hearing this verse, the Negus king refused to return the Muslims to the Quraysh. Instead, he gave them refuge in his land and provided them with security. And they were free to practice their faith under this Christian king's ruling under his land. That was the first time it was recorded in the Islamic tradition that Muslims went as refugees and they asked a Christian for help, and it was provided. And there have been many times throughout history where that has happened in the reverse. Moving further forward, I'd like to look at eliminating stereotypes that surround Muslim women. I've looked at briefly touched on the relationship between Muslims and Christians. I want to look at Muslim women and presenting them as being diverse and celebrating our similarities, not only with Christians, but just with humanity around the world, and communicating how we are a homogeneous faith. We incorporate all aspects of life, and this is where, as Muslims, we'll say it's a way of life. It's not necessarily a religion, just a religion where you go through religious rituals every day. Muslims engage in all areas of life, and for me, my passion is the arts, and I've always been inclined to explore painting, writing, music, fashion, and this is also reflected in the negative on me when it comes to looking at how I would have been perceived. Now, for you today, obviously I look like everybody else. It's a cold day, we've got jumpers on, and some of us have scarves on in the UK. And if you're in a warmer country, you might have loose and more modest clothing on, just purely because it's practical. And now, I look at my my transition from when I wasn't covering to when I decided to put a scarf on my head. I didn't give up my identity as a person. And I think this is a misconception from non-Muslims that Muslim women do put the hijab on, or the English translation of that is that it's a veil. And somehow we do it because we're oppressed, that we're doing it under the instruction of a man, be that our husband, a brother, or, society's men. Living in the UK, it's my choice to dress the way I want to dress. It was always my choice to cover my hair. It was always my choice to move from less revealing clothes to more cover clothes. I found personally that my first reason for covering didn't come from any desire to run away. It was an act of obedience to God. And if we go back further enough in history, once upon a time, all women wore more clothing for various reasons. And more specifically in the Christian faith, Mary is never depicted without some sort of head covering and long robe. So it shouldn't be something unusual to see a Muslim woman with a scarf on her head, long sleeves, and her legs covered. For me, it's a religious choice. It's an act of modesty. I don't use it as a political statement. I don't feel that it is necessary for it to be some sort of feminist statement to say, look, I'm here and I'm Muslim. For me, it's very personal, and it is purely an act of worship. And I think this is where my non-conformity comes in. My dress code has always been considered unconventional. When I wasn't covering, I experimented with every fashion, every hair color. and when I decided to cover, that didn't stop. I still wear biker's boots. I still wear leather jackets. I still wear outrageous colors sometimes. Friends and family sometimes look in horror just purely because they think, oh my God, what is that? It just doesn't go together. But for me, fashion is a form of communicating one's personality. It's a form of communicating your identity. And I enjoy color, I enjoy clothes. And I won't be apologetic for communicating that to the world. And as a Muslim woman, yes, I am here, and my clothes do not dictate my level of faith. They don't dictate my commitment to my faith. And I think in some way, my quirky dress sense has, and this is using other people's ways to describe me, is I think it's a way of normalizing the hijab. It's a way of saying, look, we are the same. I was involved in organizing fashion shows in my youth. I used to be a designer. I was trying to make modest fashion accessible to Muslim women who covered, whether that was in the workplace or in their social groups. A couple of years ago, I don't know if any of you would have heard of the modest fashion movement globally. There are bodies set up all over the world who engage in promoting modest fashion. There is a huge event that goes on in Turkey every year. There's one that goes on in Miami every year, and it's always called, and there's one also, not to forget, London, our home city, one in London. It's called London Modest Fashion Week, and I'm part of that. And you will see designers from all cultures, Muslims and non-Muslims, participating in those events. And just to look at the screen here, that diversity in fashion is also represented in the people or the posters that you can see up on the screen. I mean, this is just a microcosm of people, of Muslims who engage in the arts. The top left-hand corner is an artist who is called Muhammad Ali, and his tag name is Aerosol Ali. He hails from Birmingham in the UK, and his artwork is what we call graffiti art. And as a young British Bengali, I suppose that idea of a graffiti artist is you don't think of a young Bengali guy coming to mind straight away. You think of deprived young white boys scribbling on the sides of trains, or spraying illegally on the side of a wall. This guy and others like him, because it's a huge movement. It's not restricted to Muslims. Graffiti art. It's a way of communicating his commentary on society, his opinions on society, his opinions on British politics, on the politics of Muslims around the world, on the oppression of Muslims around the world, and trying to make that connection through what we call a subculture in the UK, and that's predominantly caters for the youth. We have a pianist in the top right-hand corner. I remember she goes by the tag name of Electricity. She's a British Moroccan. She has the most beautiful pianist skills and singing voice. And she was at an event, a charity event 2 years ago when we were allowed to mix with each other pre-COVID. And this event was attended by non-Muslims, albeit it was aimed at celebrating Muslims breaking their fast for the day, but it was attended by non-Muslims. And I think somebody like Illiteracy communicates that we do celebrate forms of music. And yes, people like her as a woman, she may be criticised from certain Muslim groups that a woman performing up on stage is somehow immodest, and again somehow representative of the fall of women in society. And there are groups that advocate these views, Muslim groups who advocate these views. But I think that night it was celebrated. Women in the arts were celebrated. And we also have artists like Fasim Mohammed, who also happens to be my husband, who is a British-born artist, grew up in the East End of London, whose art has a resonance with me and the people who buy his art. I think that it connects on a level where we transcend those boundaries of whether or not we understand Arabic, whether or not we even believe in Islam, that we can appreciate beauty for beauty's sake, that a piece of art speaks to us in many ways. I just have a snippet of one of his pieces at the bottom left-hand side of the pictures. We can always find some message in an image of beauty. We can transcend prejudice through art. I strongly believe that we can transcend prejudice through art. Again, we have Tommy Evans, who is a rapper. Again, is an advocate of breaking down prejudice between people of different colours, of trying to engage in listening to the working class, of trying to understand what it is to be a young male. He's a Muslim, he's a convert to Islam. He advocates women's rights. I think there's a stereotypical idea that Muslim men don't advocate Muslim women's rights. And we have an artist down at the bottom, Sharifa Energy. Again, she's from the north of England, lives in London, has been an avid campaigner for the injustices of what happened at the Grenfell Towers in the UK a couple of years ago, how those people who lost their homes, who lost their lives in that tragic fire, were never truly compensated, and bringing to light that inactivity by the British government, that slowness to compensate these people, was purely because they were people of colour, was purely because the they hailed from countries that they weren't born and brought up in the UK. They didn't have wealth. As a poet, as a musician, she highlighted these issues. Again, this goes against people's assumptions of what it means to be a Muslim woman. We move on to slide 3. I'm not sure if I have the time to talk about all of the people here, but the top left-hand corner, we have a British Muslim poet. I mean, he goes back from as far as the 60s, and the whole hippie culture that surrounded the UK at the time, and people in that movement. He comes from a movement that's Sufi oriented, so they are already connected to the arts and promoting a tolerance of people from all walks of life. His name's Daniel Abdulhay Moore. Top centre is Amani Al-Khattabi, and forgive me if I haven't put her name up on the screen here, but she created a magazine, online magazine, some people call it a blog, called muslimgirl.com, and it's what I can only describe as a radical, alternative, and sometimes controversial publication. It hails from America and has contributors from all over the world. And I was one of those contributors. This woman is in her late 20s. She was named as Forbes' top 30 most influential Muslims under the age of 30 in 2018. She's an author of a book which we can sort of describe as a sort of coming of age journal post 9/11, and the issues and prejudices that she would have had to negotiate as a Jordanian American. She's an advocate fighting white supremacy in America. She campaigns for Black Lives Matter. She was the first Muslim woman who, in New Jersey's 6th congressional district, to run for federal office. That was just over a year ago. She didn't win her seat, but the point is she was the first Muslim woman in New Jersey to run for office. Nobody expected a Muslim woman from her ethnicity, being from an Arab country, to speak for the people of New Jersey and run for office. I think this is phenomenal, and she is. I think she epitomizes that we can't hold on to the stereotypes of what it is to be a Muslim woman anymore. Love her or hate her, and there's plenty of people who criticize her. She, as all the women that I have mentioned and will go on to mention, she has sort of opened the door for that generation. I'm much older than her, to have a voice, to be who you want to be, and hold on to their faith. It's so important through all of these things, all of the people that I'm mentioning, that I am in no way, shape or form dissolving the faith of Islam. That I'm trying to communicate that we can hold on to the things that we pursue in life, and still maintain our faith and still be advocates of faith. You have a model at the top right-hand corner, Halima Aden. I think many people around the world will recognize her. She's a Somali model. She's one of the first models to run on, to enter the runway in New York Fashion Week in 2017, I believe. You have another model underneath her, Mariett Ramm. She is British and she is of Moroccan Pakistani descent. And she ties in with the message that I'm trying to communicate about being mixed race and being Muslim and celebrating the arts. She's somebody who also talks about not wanting to have to identify with one racial group. And possibly unlike myself, although I am a Muslim, and although my skin appears to be white, I identify with being Asian, with being Black. I identify with being white. I don't want to have to say to anybody, I am one colour or another. I identify with my Christian family. My mother's family are all Catholic and they live mainly in Ireland, but they're scattered around the world also. I identify with with my Catholic family, my grandparents, because they believed in one God. Many of my cousins have abandoned the practice of Catholicism, but I identify with them as human beings. These people are my family. The next slide also shows more examples of the diversity of what it is to be a Muslim woman. And again, depicting different colours. Top left-hand corner, we have a boxer, Ramla Ali. She's the first female UK boxing champion. In the middle, we have Noor El-Sadari. She's an Egyptian activist. She was persecuted by the Sadat regime in Egypt back in the 1970s for voicing her opposition to the government at the time, the government that was presenting itself as a democratic state. She was locked up and tortured for her views. Top right-hand corner, we have a figure skating champion, Zara Lara, I believe that her name is, and we have feminist activists up on the screen too. Fatima Manissa, Mona Al-Tahawi. They are past and present activists. They are women who, like it or hate it, comment on women's role in so-called Muslim countries. They advocate women's rights to practice their faith without criticism. And although I am a practicing Muslim, I strongly believe it's not my right to judge anybody on this earth. Yes, we all have to live by social codes and moral codes. We don't transgress those codes by oppressing each other or killing each other. But anything outside of that, we have a right to be who we want to be. And all these women are examples of those voices, of speaking out against female genital mutilation, You have Nawal Sadari and Mona Al-Tahawi at the bottom of the screen. We have these women who speak against the use of Islam, which is a beautiful faith, being used by men to, I suppose, enclose women, to, and in some instances to, it's a running joke at home, keep them in the kitchen. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to be a homemaker and stay at home and look after children, raise your family, raise the next generation. There is nothing wrong with whatever role you as a woman want to take on, whether that's a sportswoman, a physician, a politician, an economist. We are all valuable. We are all worthy. And we need to recognize that we are different, but we are different just like every other woman on the planet, whatever her faith may be. Muslim women engage. We move on to the next slide. Again, just going back to that idea of being mixed race, and I'm well aware of the time slot, the scale that we have here. I just want to say, just touch on another way where I think that we as a global community can eradicate or eliminate stereotypes and prejudice, not only within the Muslim and Christian relationship, but within our own communities. And I mean, this could be a talk in itself, but there's the disease of colorism that exists in all communities. And it's specifically aimed at women. Of your value only comes in how light or dark skinned you are, and you're only admired, and your beauty is only measured by those standards. And I'd like to ask all the participants here: is colorism something that we identify in our own cultures, in our own communities? Is it something that people have grown up with? You know, being told, oh, you know, you're not dark, you're too dark to be pretty, or you're you know, you're too large to be desirable. Is this something that still exists? And I know from talking to my friends who come from these, the Caribbean and various countries in Africa, that when their families move here, and obviously they grow up in this culture, that the Western ideals of what it is to be beautiful, of what it is to be valued, are based on, in some sort of surreal way, the color of your skin or the shade of your skin. I'd like to, you know, I've read papers on how I suppose in the Afro-Caribbean culture, that there is this debris left over from the slavery trade, where this horrific term mulatto has been left over. That term was used for a person of mixed race within the slave community by the slave owners, and sadly it was adopted by the slaves themselves. And it's this post sort of slavery indoctrination that I want to know, is this something that still affects the Black community? Because I know it's colorism is something that affects the Asian community, whether it's from Southeast Asia or you're looking at countries like Indonesia and Malaysia, where the trend for makeup is to make yourself look more Western, make yourself look whiter. I mean, I'm horrified when I look on social media and I see these makeup challenges where they, and it's usually about doing a woman up for her wedding, where she is transformed from being this sort of Oriental looking woman. All of a sudden her skin is as white as snow, her eyes become larger, the colour of her eyes even change with contact lenses, her lips suddenly become fuller, and you can't recognise the before and after pictures. To me, that is an extreme example of the disease of colorism in a society. But I think it exists in more subtlety in most of our cultures, and it dictates damaging ideas about how intelligent a person may or may not be, how religious a person may or may not be. And again, somebody who's of mixed race, I mean, the people who have prejudice, they can pick and choose what they decide you are, whether you're Black, whether you're white, whether you're Asian, whether you're white, and accept you or reject you accordingly. You know, I've talked about you know, the disease of colorism, and looking at the extreme examples of stereotypes. We also get them on the Muslim front. We had groups like Al-Muhajirun in the UK that were very anti-everything to do with the non-Muslim community in the UK. And I feel that the media has based its representation of what it is to be a British Muslim on these extreme groups of Al-Muhajirun and Hizb ut-Tahrir, which, needless to say, have been banned from public speaking in the UK since, I suppose, that's happened within the last 5 years. They've been accused of inciting terrorist ideas. They've been accused of inciting racial hatred. I don't want to jump on the bandwagon of the media, but I'm just stating that these are the things that these people have been accused, these groups have been accused of. And although I believe everybody has a right to espouse their ideas in the UK, we're supposed to be a democratic country. We are supposed to be able to practice our faith, criticise the government, practice whatever way of life we choose, whether that's political, sexual, or religious. Under UK law, we're supposed to be protected, and we're supposed to be able to criticise anything that affects our way of life. I'm curious to know that does this I suppose sexism and this bigotry still exist within, for example, Nigeria or other African Nigeria or other African countries? I would love to know if if we suffer from these same things. If we move on to the next slide. Well, you know, I could talk, you know, all day, and I hope that everyone's able to follow me about, you know, the prejudice that exists in the UK. There's also a lot of good. There's a lot of people promoting work that engages people of different faiths, that promotes a positive image of Muslims in the media. And, you know, we need to come to a point where we can respect and admire each other for those differences and for those similarities. You know, we need to perhaps, and I'm just talking about the UK, and perhaps this is useful for people globally, and I think it should be something that we take notice of, that we become more engaged with interfaith groups. You know, there is a body, a global body. It's the Interfaith Network. I say a global body. They reach out globally. They operate within the UK, and they work to promote understanding and cooperation and good relations between organisations and people of different faiths. You know, they do this through trying to provide opportunities for linking and sharing good practices, providing advice and information, and develop new interfaith initiatives like we're doing here today. They have a members list of national faith community representatives and local faith member bodies. They also have a list of national and regional interfaith member bodies, and they cover many religions, many political groups. We need to engage in those. I also think that we need to recognise as a community in the UK, and as Muslims, there's a word, and it's sometimes considered a dirty word, is integration. I think Muslims don't like that word because they see it as an attack on a way of life, somehow dissolving it. The word integration seems to be associated with the word assimilation, and somehow breaking down of what your beliefs are. That somehow, if we integrate, we lose ourselves, and I think that the MCB in Britain, the Muslim Council of Britain, in their reports that they produce every couple of years, they look at ways to engage Muslims in politics. I mean, I have up on the screen here, you know, quotes from that report, from Hajra Khan, the Secretary General of the Muslim Council of Britain. I have a quote from Diane Abbott, who was the former Shadow Secretary for the State of Home Affairs, and a quote from Baroness Saida Wolsey. And all these individuals who are represented within the government and outside, you know, all advocate stirring up this division that's within our communities, that we need to seriously consider the impact of intolerance on our communities. we can't just talk about it. We need to engage in action. And I believe today our engagement like this, where we talk to each other, we try to educate each other, is one step closer to breaking down those boundaries, to understanding each other, to appreciating who we are as individuals. I think we need more conferences like this, more engagement, and I think we need to share the positive stories that exist around the world. We need to, we need to acknowledge that although there are troubles between Muslims and Christians, although there are troubles between Muslims and non-Muslims within the UK or within countries like Nigeria, there are always people who are advocates willing to bring those two groups together. There was an article I read last night, and it was produced by a community of churches within America, and they looked at the religious conflict in Nigeria, commenting how the media would have you believe that Muslims and Christians cannot live side by side in Nigeria, and that they absolutely hate each other. The media would have you believe this. It's not true. It's not true. And the groups that cause division within countries like Nigeria, and the groups that cause division amongst Muslims in the UK, they are in the minority. Unfortunately, they just happen to have loud voices. And we have to recognise this. We do have to recognise this. And we mustn't allow it to dissuade us from continuing to reach out to each other. We have to, I think we do have to sort of humble ourselves and recognise that not everything we read is true. Not everything we see on TV is true. And this is my last slide. And again, a colourful array of hip hop artists, of scarf-clad motorcyclists. And I just want to celebrate the diversity of Muslim women. Most of the women in this picture are based within the UK. One of them at the bottom, Mona Hajra, she's American Syrian. All these women are, they are what I consider to be the norm. Whether we are, whether we're practicing our poetry, our spoken word poetry, whether if we're educating people about the rights of the underprivileged classes in the UK, Muslim women are doing that. Just want to say, Mona Hajra at the bottom screen, she went viral with her last rap hit called, ironically, Hijabi Rap. And she was pregnant in her music video. And it was a commentary on, don't judge me because I've got a scarf on my head. Her rap production was taken up by music publications worldwide and commented on, and I think we have to accept as Muslims that there are and there will always be Muslim women and men who don't represent these stereotypes, and when we refuse to fuel these stereotypes that are created around what it is to be a Muslim and to have the beliefs that they think we have, we will always refute that. We will always subvert that. And I think these women in these final pictures actually elucidate those final points. For me, they highlight those points. And although I consider myself to be a practicing Muslim, and I'm not going to glorify any of the practices that I engage in my faith, that's between me and my Creator, but I do consider myself to be a practicing Muslim. I refuse to accept that God gave us all these gifts only to hide them away, or to spend the rest of our lives being criticised for the measure of our faith. And I want to reiterate that it's a gift because it's a form of connection. And I really hope in some way that today that the various subjects that I've just touched on have communicated this. I really hope that they've touched on this, that how passionate I am about creating that understanding. Presentations go very quickly, don't they? And you know, I'm open to discussion. I'm open to any questions that anybody wants to throw at me if there's time. And don't be afraid. There's no topic that's off limits for me. If there's something you didn't like about what I said, please say it. I'll do my best to explain. I thank you so much, Brother Michael and Sister Jeannie, for the opportunity for me to join the class of SteelE, for me to be amongst such knowledgeable women, and I really hope that I've added to this meeting in some way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hajra. That was your presentation was very enlightening, and based on what we are looking to do with women, which is connecting women from around the globe, we want to share information based on the different differences we have, so we can look and see that they're not quite so different, but there's so much in us and among us that is the same, and we can work together with those similarities. Those similarities are what makes us stronger together. Mm-hmm. So identifying more of what is similar between us is more helpful than identify the things that are not similar, because they work against us. So thank you so much for your presentation.
I also want to continue to endorse your place, honorable place amongst us in the class of SteelE, because as a bishop, you're one of the ladies. My wife celebrates you. You know how you ladies are. But being the mentor behind the scenes, one of the things for me is I've taken a lot of stick, if you want to use the lack of a better word, as a bishop, for opening relationships that are embracive of other cultures, of other faiths. And I had to share with ministers, I'm a world leader. I build nations and communities. And for example, the city of London is diverse. Yeah. And we cannot sit down and behave as though we are laws unto ourselves in our own faith. The Muslims are important, the Christians are important. All of us build up our communities. So I endorse individuals of like minds who sit down and recognize when my child goes to school, he's not going to be on a Christian road. he's not going to be on a road that doesn't have other individuals that make up that community. And it's important for me as a dad and my wife as a mom to make sure that when he goes out there, he respects individuals, not based on which church they go to or what color their skin is, but he respects individuals based on the fact that they're human just like him. And we were just privileged to have an opportunity to be raised in a Christian community, because I can assure you, a lot of individuals were raised up in other cultures, and those cultures impact them. And when they come to the UK that is so diverse, or America or other countries, it's challenging to integrate. And as you rightly said, those that are on the minority of the extremisms, of the negativities, are so far and in between, but they have the loudest voices. And what the class of SteelE is doing, and I hope that all of us here will endorse the relationship of uniting and coming together as a people, and seeing how we can appreciate, as the First Lady said, our unique similarities. So I really want to commend you and thank you so very much for your contribution. And my wife has equally said that there are other workshops that we will make sure that we bring you to be a part of and engage in us. Thank you so very much again, Hajra. We appreciate you.
Thank you for your feedback and your love and your encouragement. Thank you so much. I from the bottom of my heart, may God bless you. Really.
Does anyone have any questions you would like to ask Hajra before we release her? Any questions? Am I seeing everyone?
You see, yeah, we see.
You're seeing everyone?
Yeah. Okay. Well, Doreen is. Doreen, are you with us, Doreen? I think that was okay. We're gonna get ready for a break, and I want to acknowledge the person of lovely Sheridan. Lovely, you are so welcome. It's lovely to see you. You're very welcome. Lovely Sheridan is our speaker after lunch. We're gonna have a needed break. We will have a needed break. And after we return, lovely Sheridan will join us. And then equally, we want to also celebrate the presence of Dr. Anita Davis-DeFoe, who will be coming after from the John Maxwell team. And she has a lot of wonderful information to share with us. And we want to, again, thank all of you for your time, your patience, and we hope that you will be back with us in 1 hour's time. 45 minutes?
45 minutes.
Okay. The boss has spoken.
45 minutes break, ladies, if that's fine. 45 minutes, and we don't want to stretch it too long, because then we will go too far over the time that we already allotted. So 45 minutes break, and I hope to see you all back.
What time that will be?
And it right now it's 20 minutes to 1. Yeah, 20 minutes to 1, so that'll be 25 minutes past. 25 minutes past the hour.
25 minutes past the hour. Yes. And so we will be regrouping here at 25 minutes past the hour. And I'm not going to say what hour that is, because some of you are 5 hours, some of you are 4 hours. So we'll say
45 minutes.
45 minutes. We'll see. But God bless you, ladies. And thank you so very much. Lovely. If any of you need us or Dr. Defoe, we are available to you by WhatsApp if you need us to communicate, so we can put anything together for you. But we'll see everybody back here in 45 minutes. Bye-bye, Jenny. See you in a bit.
You don't sign up. You wouldn't sign up. You would have to end.